Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Certified, Certiport's Educator Podcast. I'm your host, Hannah Crapeau. Join us as we dive into the world of education, certification, and technology. Okay, hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Hannah Crapeau. I'm the Content Marketing Manager here at Certiport. And today we're so excited to be talking about entrepreneurship across career clusters. So whether your students are planning on starting their own business or just looking to be a better employee. And we're excited to be able to learn from two incredible educators, Christina and Marjorie. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And Christina, we'll go ahead and start with you just to do introductions. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you teach.
Hey, hi, I'm Christina Deibler. I teach high school marketing and entrepreneurship. We cover business ownership and all business and career. We cover the whole gamut, trying to get them ready for careers after high school, whatever they're going to do next. So I am in Palm Beach County, Florida.
Amazing. Marjorie, let's do introductions from your side as well.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Marjorie Mitchell. I'm over in Irving, Texas, and I teach a high school level, 10th grade through 12th grade. I teach marketing, the practicum in marketing, teaching students retail management, and I teach entrepreneurship through Nifty. Again, as Miss Christina said, I teach them everything from starting up their business to opening up a franchise or just growing the current businesses, or even if their parents have a business, I have them use that as well as a landing point for these students.
All right, so two experts here. We're so excited to be able to dive into this topic. And Marjorie, will come to you first. I wanted to ask, what does entrepreneurship education mean to you?
To me, entrepreneurship education means giving the right tools to the right people and teaching them how to use it. It's a growth mindset for me for entrepreneurship. When you teach it, you're teaching the students to build on the domains that's already there. So as educators in that realm, we actually pull that out of the students. So we pull out those domains that are sitting there dormant, as we say, and we just give fire to them, give life to them. So that for me is entrepreneurship education, just sparking that flame. It's there for those kids, and that's what we do.
I love that. Just bringing it out, right? Getting it started. Yeah, I love that. Christina, any thoughts from you? What does entrepreneurship education mean to you?
So, Marjorie, I love that aspect, tapping into their passions. Everybody's passionate about something. So if we can find what that is, then we've solved the problem. But for me, it is, like Marjorie said, it's more of a mindset than just a set of skills. It's a perspective shift. It is learning how to view problems as opportunities rather than something negative that's going to hold you back. It's actually seeing the possibilities of where those problems can go.
Yeah, so it's I love that we're talking about a mindset as opposed to like a set of skills, because I think this next question that I wanted to discuss really leads into this, is that not all students that you teach are going to open up their own business. So Christina, we'll come to you. Why do you think then it's important to focus on entrepreneurship in schools?
So if they can develop that entrepreneurial mindset that we just touched on, it's going to spill over into every aspect of their lives, from their professional lives, their educational lives, and even their personal lives. So to me, the biggest thing is that students are able to learn how to quickly and easily solve problems, be creative, overcome failure. They start to quickly learn how to innovate and brainstorm. And again, to recognize those opportunities. And so all of these things help give them the courage to go after their goals. And any opportunity that they see, they might have the nerve to go and chase after, because they know they can do it and turn that into something bigger and better.
Expanding the mindset too, right? It's not just about seeing things as they are, but also seeing things for how they can be and being able to tackle those new opportunities. Marjorie, did you have anything that you wanted to add to that? Why do you think it's important for the students you work with to focus on entrepreneurship?
The students, well, I'm going along with Christina. We've been teaching entrepreneurship, so we definitely understand the whole concept of teaching entrepreneurship is not just a subject, it's not just a skill, but as she said, giving them that ability to be comfortable with risk, giving them the ability to be thinkers, critical thinkers, because it will spill over. It does spill over. It allows students to see as she said, the problems that we see, they're not problems, they're opportunities, and we're there to solve them. So, with everyday life, just getting up in the morning to study for your chemistry test, you're going to be able to critically think, to make a decision as to if I want to go to trade school, if I want to go to work when I get out of high school, should I go to this party or not? Being comfortable with risk, making those decisions. That's what we teach our students. So, it's very important that we have entrepreneurship in schools. Is not the subject. It is, as we said, the mindset, changing the students' minds to let them know that there's something outside than what they see right now. So it's definitely important to focus on entrepreneurship in schools.
I wanted to dive a little deeper. You guys have both touched on a couple different skill sets that you build with students as they focus on becoming entrepreneurs. But I wanted to talk hard and soft skills. So Marjorie, will come to you. What are some of the hard skills that your students are learning, and then some of the soft skills that they're learning as you focus on entrepreneurship?
Because some of the hard skills they're learning is pretty much with the finance, learning how to count money, budget. Right now, we're in that lesson right now, business finance, and it's becoming very apparent that the students are still not understanding a bank account. They're still not understanding what expenses are, things that goes out, and how to price items, and why companies price so high and why some price so low, and understanding what profit is. Kids go out there and they buy cookies and they sell the cookies. Say, Miss Mitchell, I made profit. Did you really? Right? And then we come to think about it as, wait, what did you spend on? And most of them realize that, oh, wow, I spent more than I made. Yes, so you have no profit. So learning those things, these are the hard skills I really teach my students. The soft skills I teach my students is simplest thing, to shake hands, how to speak, and how to present. Because when we teach entrepreneurship, we have them present in class as if we are investors. The whole point of having a business plan is to present in front of an investor or to present in front of a bank, someone who's going to give you the money. And coming from the banking industry, managed Bank of America for 10 years, I know when someone comes into my office and asks to sign off on something that my banker said, sure, they'll be approved for this, you have to pitch that to me. You've got to make me believe in this product of yours or in this business of yours. And I'm not really sign off on the business, I'm sign off on you. So I teach a student the soft skills I think that they need to understand is how to shake hands, how to be presentable in front of someone, that respect that they need, the eye contact, the simplest thing, getting this earbuds off, right, while you're talking to me, is simple things like that that they learn in entrepreneurship class that goes a long way. You don't have to run a business, but you definitely know how to shake that hand of someone. You know how to say, excuse me, you know how to open up a door, you know how to speak. So that's what I teach, these hard and soft skills in entrepreneurship class.
I like that it expands into so many other areas besides business, right? It's social components. It's all these different social cues and communication skills that are so relevant, not just in the workplace, but in a personal life as well, right? There's so much that can be gained from that. Yeah. Christina, anything that you wanted to add, hard and soft skills that your students are working on in class?
I think Marjorie did a great job covering it. I think sometimes we focus on hard skills, and especially in the schools, in the school system, we're focused on teaching them how to pass these tests and so forth. But the soft skills, I think, are where sometimes we miss the mark and are probably the most important things. As Marjorie said, things that are going to help you get your first job, help you promote in that job, help you be successful in college. So learning how to communicate definitely is a huge one. I call it creative problem solving, being able to use creativity to come up with issue or solutions to different issues that they might encounter in any aspect of life. And then just learning how to be resilient and, getting comfortable with that, taking that risk and getting up and trying again and realizing it's not the end of the road just because you didn't do something as successfully as you wanted to. We're not starting all the way back down from level zero. You've learned so much. Let's reflect on that and see how we can take that to grow. So the next time we're starting up here, and the next time you're going to be starting up here. So I like to point out a lot of successful entrepreneurs who have not been successful the first time. And we look at Elon Musk and people that they do respect and admire to show them, hey, they didn't just have it all figured out. They weren't born knowing how to do all of these things. You have to practice them. And yes, putting their phones away and being able to leave their phones away not lining up at the door 5 minutes before class is over. And so I like to remind them, you are not going to line up 5 minutes before your shift is over at work. And if your boss is trying to tell you what the expectations are for that day, you better put your phone down and not be texting in your phone. Look at them and listen to them and make sure you know what you're supposed to be working on. So we work on a lot of those smaller skills and soft skills in my class.
But I think those ultimately are the ones that students remember, right? And take with them. So I wanted to ask for both of you, have you had students come back and say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you taught that to me. So Christina, have you had that experience of students coming back and saying, you'll never believe that what you actually taught me is so useful?
Yes, I actually have. Project management is a good example of that, but also entrepreneurship skills. So I have been teaching, I'm in my 4th year of teaching. So I hope that I have a million of these examples as I continue to go. But even as students, as they progress from freshman year and they've learned some of these basics, and they're actually able to use some of this stuff in their other high school classes. And then as some of them go to work on the job or dual enrollment and they start taking college courses, they've definitely come back and said, oh, okay, I see what you were saying.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know what you meant. But I can also reflect back in middle school and high school teachers of myself that I thought that maybe they were crazy. They were out of touch. They had no idea what they were talking about. And I still remember those lessons to this day. And it's something such as eye contact and a firm handshake from a social studies teacher in 7th grade. So
still sticking up here, right? Like so many years later. Yeah, I love that. Marjorie, have you had similar experiences in your time teaching?
Every year. I encourage my students to come back. I just had one of my students who came back who now manages 2 state farm offices. And I remember him in my marketing class and my entrepreneurship class. And he was just, especially 11th, his junior year, he would just sit back and he's a smart kid and just wouldn't do anything. Senior year was a year I think there's a spark, but there was something going on with him that he said after he graduated. But little things that we teach them is how to be respectful. You may not like what your boss says. Smile and move on. Continue. Never leave a job until you have another one, right? Set up and lined up. And he did that. And he told my students that he's back to hire 2 of them. He came back to hire 2. And he said, teachers are human beings as well. They know people. And when they've been through it, they tell you. So when Miss Mitchell put me in that job, I was treated miserably. I did not leave. I was transferred to another office where I am today. And now I have 2 offices and I'm here because I want to hire 2 of you. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? He just graduated in 2017. He got his first house last year, bought a car for himself and his grandmother. This kid is making 6 figures. He is 22? When Ricky came to me and he told me all this, I said, why didn't you tell me that you were treated badly? He said, because you always say smile and move on and never leave a job until... I said, but at least you could have told me. I would have moved you sooner. I told you don't leave, but I could have moved you. But he told them that. He said, you cannot yell at the boss. You smile. You can talk about it when you get home, but you come back with a smile on your face. And until you find something else, you do not leave. And now Ricky is happy with where he's at. He's hiring one of my juniors. The other senior, he has to continue interviewing him to make sure that his schedule matches with them. And this kid, I still see him as a kid. Just 2017, my DECA president for 2 years is now able to hire 2 more students and give back. And he's just one of the most recent ones that came in. But would come in school, go to college and said, yeah, she told you your first assignment was going to be a 5-page paper. I promise you it is. I told them, hey, your first assignment, teacher's going to say, just give me 5 pages. But you guys cry when I ask you for 1 or 2. You cry when you have to do a DECA assignment that's 10 pages. Your executive summary is only 1 page for Nifty. That's all I ask. And you don't want to give 1 page. You're going to go to college. They're going to ask you for 5 pages. So they learn, they remember. So whatever I tell every educator out there, point to your kids. Show them that you believe in them. And the day that you have given up, or the day that you don't believe in your kids, That's your day to give your keys and your badge up.
Mm.
Don't continue in bitterness. Just take care of them. Because as much as we say these kids are our future, they really are.
Mm-hmm.
What? We are our future because we are teaching our future leaders. So pour into them as much as we can. Matter if their head is down. Trust me, they're hearing. Tap on their shoulder. Ensure that they know that you are there. That I always make sure I'm present. I'm there. I can see you. I can hear you. I heard that. I'm a mama too. I heard that. Right. And I'm telling you, I got 3 kids of my own. I tell them I hear everything. I see everything. I promise you. Quiet in my class, and you're not always quiet. You're on that. So, right.
Uh,
We know, but we have to be honest with them and teach them every skill that we have learned, with other teachers. Teach them something, and we know that's coming out there. And I'm sure Christina does that, but Christina, if you don't, bring people outside into your class. And I
right.
know you, I
Oh,
know for a fact
absolutely.
that's what we do. You bring the outside world in class and let them tell the students how it is, how it really is. Because they always believe that teachers are just teachers. You were born a teacher. You know nothing about the outside world, right? No matter what you tell them, they don't believe it. I bring somebody else in. Thank God with the networking I've made throughout working out there, I'm able to meet with so many other people. And they come in and they just talk to my kids. I've had people from down in the streets and now a pastor. They come in and they talk to them. It's everybody comes in. So I say, listen, you're always going to find those testimonials from your students. Um, Trust me, you put something in them, invite them to come in before they leave. Invite them. Say, hey, after you've graduated, come back. Tell the students how it really is out there,
Mm.
so that you prepare them as well. And they feel really good that you ask them to come back to help someone else. Everybody, deep down, they really want to help.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that connection and those memories really spark a lot for them to be able to come back and see students doing similar things and being able to showcase, right, that this actually matters. What we're learning here is so important.
Yes.
And so I wanted to get down into kind of the tactical nature of teaching entrepreneurship and talk about the projects that you use in your classroom. So Christina, will come to you. What are some of the things and the projects and assignments that you do with your students to help them get excited about entrepreneurship?
I love this question. I love projects. I'd like to use project-based learning. So anything that I can find that they can get tangible experience and actually walk through it and be able to relate the concepts that we're learning. So I love innovation challenges. So Marjorie, you talked about Nifty Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship. So my classes joined the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship Innovation Challenge or World Series of Innovation this year. I have done the Intuit Innovation Challenges the last few years. So that gives them hands-on, real-world issues that they can try to solve as ninth grade students that they think that they don't really have a voice or a way to make a difference in the world, but they're solving real social problems for people. And they come up with such great ideas. They never fail to amaze me. Um, I like to do any kind of informal business pitches as much as possible. So from a very small level, from just throwing them in a group and giving them a topic and telling them to solve whatever problem. So whether that's something relevant like the Super Bowl, or maybe we're going to do a Super Bowl commercial. Talk about how much money companies are paying for those commercials. This week we're working on coming up with a new idea for chocolate or candy. Since we're talking about Valentine's Day, it's Valentine's Day, so relating it to stuff that's going on in the real world makes it a little more exciting for them. Or it could just be a common household product that I throw at them and tell them to come up with a new use for. And then they have to work with a team that they didn't choose to come up with solutions. And then they have to get up and pitch that to the class. And then they vote on the winners. And so anything that's a competition for my students, it's always so much more fun. And I get a lot more buy-in when they know there's something to be won, which those innovation challenges, they can win actual money. So we're getting ready to do a food truck project. So I'm excited for that because that brings in budgeting. They're going to plan a menu, come up with their concept, their business name, design the way it's going to look. And so that really covers a lot of those entrepreneurial principles. And my favorite's probably Shark Tank. So we use Shark Tank a lot in my classroom. sometimes we just watch an episode and dissect it. We look at the lessons to be learned. I have them reflect on how well the pitches went, what could have gone better, things like that. We do our own shark pitch competition and involve local business owners and have them come in and judge and give the feedback. Because again, as you mentioned, Marjorie, they don't hear it from us. It's just like speaking to your child. They hear Charlie Brown, wah, wah, wah. But as soon as someone else says it, they hear it and a light bulb goes off. And so having successful business owners across different trades and backgrounds is hopeful to them, and getting them to come in and kind of mentor them and give them their stories, because some of them did have a hard background and they didn't start out the way that they wanted to, and they had to pivot and be ready to change. And so that has been the most rewarding, and I think been able to really drive home all the things that we're learning in marketing and entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Well, it contextualizes the skills too. I mean, everything that you've talked about is a project that puts it into a real world perspective, which I think is so important. And it really brings, to Marjorie's point from earlier, it brings the outside world into the classroom, is what they need to see. And Marjorie, I'm seeing a lot of nodding. Do you have any other projects that you wanted to emphasize or talk about as well?
Yeah, this is amazing what Christina is doing. I tell you, entrepreneurship teach, we got like symbiotic brains. We do that, and you have to dive in the skills in there. Shark Tank, I used a lot last year. This year, I'm not using it as much. I need to get back into it, right? Because I realize that some of my students don't even know what Shark Tank is when I started this year. And I'm thinking, you're not even understanding this grand scheme of things. But last year, oh my goodness, the kids always wanted to watch Shark Tank. They want to dissect it. Oh, Miss Mitchell, can I watch the kids one? It was amazing to them to get into that, to see some of the best pitches not making it, right? And those that didn't make it actually really, really good at the end, because we researched them afterwards. What are they doing now? And the kids realize, oh, I know that product. Oh, that product didn't work, Miss Mitchell, but that's a good pitch. I heard it. It sounds good. The finance portion was always hard for them. I said, don't worry about the finance portion. We'll get there when we get there. So this year I haven't used it as much, but I use those innovative challenges. So in the beginning of class, my first project, I start classes the first day of school. So that's how you get to know me. My get to know me is not, what's your name? Give me a 30-second pitch. My get to know me, you walk into the class and there's household items on your desk. We start working. And that's it. I give you a problem and you solve it. So you create and you build with those toilet paper rolls, there's a plastic, I get them plastic wraps. My closet is full of stuff. This kid said, Miss Mitchell, what else in there? You'll find it, trust me. I'm a marketer. I got it. Right? Straws, and I just give it to them. Paper clips. And I said, whatever is there is not what you see. You do not have a toilet paper. You do not have a paper clip. You are going to build for me, and you only have, and I give them a ridiculous time, like 3 minutes. And I put the time on there and it goes off and they've got to stop. That already is the icebreaker for me. I get to see the kids that really can talk to other people. I get to see the kids that decide I'm not doing anything. I'm already seeing you. I'm a marketer. I'm observing the students that I have in class. I don't need to know your name. I just need to know your character, right? Who do I need to spend more time with, right? And that's what I have them do. That's innovation. That's what they do. And I do all these others. Power of tower. Have them build the tallest tower. My God, my kids are standing and putting all the stuff on the roof. I'm like, you can't do that. Right? If it falls apart, like this visually fell, I can't help you. But these are the skill sets that they're learning. And we know every game, they're learning a skill set, they're learning a mindset. So at the end of the day, when they're actually doing it in class and reflecting, oh, that's what we were doing. Yes, that's what you were doing. The Lego game, the projects that we build in class. And just so you guys know, I'm an entrepreneur. So I have my own business. And my principal has agreed that I can use my business in class. My students are helping me doing my marketing. So when they get to the marketing section, they are doing that. I don't use my business because sometimes they don't research. If you only research it, you'll see my name. But you can tell the kids who remember to do some market research, and those are just, okay, so what is this company? You just Google, you will actually see my name. But they don't Google. They just go with the flow. But tell them a little background on the company and having them build the marketing plans on there. And at the end, they realize, oh my God, this is a real company. Yes, it is. It is real as it can get. And you have to understand the company in order to build somebody else's. You need to also know yours as well. But I have them do the projects that Christina is talking about, just having them do the chocolate bar. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have to do it during this season because I always do it when we do the marketing lesson and they build their own chocolate bar. They have to do the market research. So these projects that my students do, I do project-based learning. Everything in my class is a project. And I teach project management as well with my advanced marketing class. So they learn the phases and all that stuff. But my entrepreneurship class, everything I teach, everything I build with them, it's a project. We call it investigations and nifty, but everything is a project and they learn, they play games, they play financial soccer. They kick the ball in. What's the variable expense? Did you get it? Get it right, you get your 2 points. Kick the ball again in class. They're playing soccer in class. My principal said, every time I come to your class, there's something else. I'm like, yeah, I get bored. I can't read a book. They don't like to read. I don't like to read. Might as well play soccer. They'll get it. And they get it because that's what they want to do. They want to play. But in order to kick that ball to play, you've got to get the answer right. So if you answer the variable expense correctly, you got it right. Kick the ball. And it's fun to see them. They'll remember. And even if that's the only lesson they remember and that only game they remember, just to get what a variable expense is, especially in the finance portion, everything is a game. Play with Legos. They see Legos like, we're going to play with Legos? Yes, you are. There's a lesson to it. And they realize when it comes to the end, do we have to count? Yes, you do. With the calculator, please. Put a period and a dollar sign in front. It's all a lesson, but they have so much fun doing it. I let them play. And at the end, I drop the ball like, okay, it's actually a lesson, people. Oh, Miss Mitchell. We got to have fun with this. We have to, any way we can get those kids to learn, do it. Anyway,
all that hands-on learning, I think it just makes it so much easier. Learning by doing is so much more impactful, right, than learning by lecturing or any of those other methods of communication. But I know it takes, to your point, Marjorie, so many things in the classroom, right? So many resources to really build a rich curriculum like that. So, Marjorie, we'll start with you. What resources are you using to teach entrepreneurship skills?
I'm telling you, Nifty gives us everything we need. Again, because I teach marketing, I have a lot of items that I use, but Nifty always lets you know whatever you need, ask them for it. The things that like Lego pieces, I'm a mama. I get Lego pieces from home. I ask the teachers, can I get any Lego pieces that you have? They're like, Lego pieces? Yes, I'm a marketer. We're crazy. We are going to need Lego pieces, right? And I get those resources from when I buy them myself or Nifty will get them. Irving ISD in Texas, they are totally awesome. If you have to teach, you teach in that district. They will buy those things for you. So if you're in this program, it'll tell you exactly what materials you need for that. So not just the projector, not just paper, pen, because kids love colors. I give them wax colors. I give them stickers, the things that kindergartners use, and they light up. My 11th and 12th graders light up, and they learn with those things. So I'm saying, find out maybe what your kids like. You know, kids, and then use the things from home. I ask them to pull a grade. In the beginning of the year, everyone bring an empty water bottle and a toilet paper roll. That's it. I'm sure you're going to throw it out after you use it for a couple weeks. Just bring that to me and I give them a grade. I collect it. So I have a box in here because I know I'm going to use it next year. Just as you do in kindergarten, right? You get a list and they tell you bring 3 boxes of tissue paper. They don't need all that. But I ask you for that. And that's what I use. All the free stuff. Give me anything that's from the house that I know that these kids can cut and tear, tape and put together because I know I'm going to give them those projects where they have to build stuff. They make a backpack out of plastic bags. My kids made a backpack out of plastic bags. We know that Intuit challenge, right? It's just a design for thinking. And I'm like, wow. When they're done, the parents see that. So I use a gallery walk. And when you have parent night, come see what your kids have done. And you may think it's junk, but do you understand the process they had to use? Those skills that they had to use are critical thinking skills, understanding someone else's feelings and rebuilding something for them. It's just amazing, right? They think we're playing in this class. We're not playing. We're having fun learning. And that's how my students learn. I promise you, if you miss that class, you're lost. Because I'm not the one that's going to lecture for an hour. I love to talk. I said, hey, I get paid to talk. So let me get paid. Let me get paid to do my work. Talk. Let me do my job. But when I see it, where the kids talking, and they're trying to figure out how do we make this circle? You made it too big. We gotta figure out how to cut it. Miss Mitchell, do you have more pay? No, you gotta have to pay for it. As an entrepreneur, you use the resources you have. You gotta pay for more. Do you have any money? No, Miss Mitchell, don't have money. You have to use what you got. And I don't give them the fake money because I tell them whatever you have, that's what you use. So I like to make them the struggle, give them the struggle because they always think that someone has money. And in business, sometimes you may not have enough money to buy. Whatever you bought, that's what you need to use. And if you waste it or you don't think it through before you start, that's what can happen. And I watch them. They fail. It's okay. Because in my class and in every entrepreneurship class, failure is a catalyst to success.
Oh,
You're
I
going
love
to
that.
fail.
I love that.
It's okay. How
Yeah.
else are you going to learn?
Yeah. Well, I think that's real life, right? And to Christina's point from earlier, you fail, but you're not starting back over from square one. You're moving yourself up with each failure, right? Progressive
Yes.
learning.
So that's
Christina,
what we teach.
any additions from you of resources that you found to be helpful in the classroom?
So I agree. I love to find free resources. And so I've even utilized local free cycle groups or free pages. And people will give me all kinds of arts and crafts supplies and tinker toys and whatever it is that I need. And so I love to do very similar things, Marjorie, where I have them I call it create something. And I change the rules based on what I have. and so very similarly, they have to figure out how to create something and how to market it. And it might just be a bunch of trash, or sometimes they call it trash. Actually, they told me this year, what am I supposed to do with this, miss? You just gave me a bag of junk and trash. And I'm like, you are going to come up with a brilliant business idea with it. That's what you're going to do. And sometimes I'll just change halfway through. I'll be like, okay, you came up with a business idea. Now we're going to change the rules of the game. And you have to turn that business idea into something you can market to kids or into a game that can be played. And you have to get up here and demonstrate for me how you're going to play that game. So I like to find games and also fun hands-on ways. So there are some online games that are fun that I like to use in my class. There's one called Side Hustle, and they have to ideate and come up very quickly with business ideas, with random business names and industries. And we do it in my classroom. I give them blank index cards and have them write down business names. I mean, they have no idea what it's for. We do this early on. So they just make up the most random name. And then we pair those with industry cards. And so I'll quickly pull up a card. Your business name is blank space. The industry is technology. What do you have for me? And so sometimes we do it individually. Sometimes I put them in random teams and they have 30 seconds or 60 seconds to come up with a business idea. They have to pitch it and then they have to win points. So similar to that side hustle game, something very similar. There's an online coffee shop game. So we're going to use this to prepare for our food truck lesson because they have to budget and they have to pay for the ingredients and so forth. So they can kind of see it before we actually do the project. There's another one called Cash Flow where they're buying real estate. So it's from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And so it's a free online game. So if I can find games to reinforce the lessons that we've been working on, I love it. Marjorie, as you were saying, when I started teaching, I thought that I had to get up here and teach and speak, and I had to be up here teaching the whole time or I wasn't doing my job. And I quickly learned that they aren't listening. And so I have to find more creative ways to get them to get those lessons. So I try to find multiple ways where they can see something, they can read something, they can watch a short clip, or if I can find a real life YouTube video, or again, like I can use Elon Musk or somebody that they can relate to kind of show that, and then have them do the reflecting. So they're learning in a backwards way rather than me telling them what they're going to learn and what it means. But I like to find free stuff that I can use online. So again, I've gone to Facebook to a free business educator group where it's other business teachers, and so they share lessons or they ask questions. I'm trying to teach this concept. How are you guys using that in your classroom? And so it's people who are in the classroom now trying to teach the same things that you are. And so that's nice. We talked about the backpack challenge. So teaching entrepreneurship, they have a lesson plan and they have some fun lesson plans. One of my favorite new resources that I've been using this year is Empowered. It's empoweredhub.org. I don't know if you've found that resource, Marjorie, but there are a lot of really fun and interactive, hands-on, practical, project-based lessons. The lesson plan's already created for you. I've learned a lot from Certiport, the Certified Academy. That's how I really got connected with networking entrepreneurship in the first place. I heard it was a podcast, I believe. No, actually, it might have been a webinar where Daniel Williams from Nifty was on there, and they were talking about an end of the year ceremony that he attended. And so I asked him if I did an end of the year ceremony, would he come? And he said, absolutely. And he came, he brought me my lovely little Nifty banner back there. And he gave me a bunch of resources, and he was so inspiring. So I have, and so I wouldn't have had that idea if I didn't hear it from another teacher. And we use that as our award ceremony and our final pitch contest for our top 3 Shark Tank pitches. And so we had the community come out and the parents came out and we did awards. And so a lot of it is learning from other teachers, to be honest, finding ways to plug in. And so the Certified Academy is a great way for that, or attending certified conference and meeting other teachers who are doing the same thing.
I love that. And I love that even just having the 2 of you here, you can imagine the brain power that comes when you get this many teachers in the room, but just so many new and fresh ideas and approaches that just depending on your personality, you might not have considered before, but your students might find super engaging. And so I love this opportunity to be able to learn together. And that brings me to my final question that I wanted to ask is, what advice would you share, maybe for our non-entrepreneurship teachers, right? You both have the opportunity to teach in a business class and also an entrepreneurship focused class. What advice would you share with these other educators about teaching entrepreneurial skills? So Marjorie, will come to you first.
One advice I would give to non-entrepreneurial teachers or entrepreneurship teachers is that do not separate entrepreneurship from what you do. Again, entrepreneurship is not a standalone lesson or class, right? It's not a subject. If they figure out it's a mindset to help those kids, entrepreneurship is in everything we do, in the history lessons, having them be able to critical think in economics class, and playing basketball, letting them be comfortable with risk. You may not want to be a 3-point shooter, but be comfortable and just do it, right? So all this stuff you're doing right now, you are teaching entrepreneurial skills. And you may not have a class where you're asking a student to create a business plan. You may not have an issue where you're telling students to solve a problem or an opportunity to make money. But they are solving problems in class. They are looking at every situation that they have in your class and have them see it not as a problem, but as an opportunity to solve it. The only difference with an entrepreneurship student and you is that we want to make money for solving those problems, right? We're going to ask you to pay for that. But the other classes, you solve it. You help someone else. And the mindsets that we teach in entrepreneurship is those domains of self-initiative, self-reliance, critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, and innovation. These are skill sets that are in every one of our students. We have to be able to infuse that and get it out of those kids. Talk to them, get to know them, teach them real life skills, as well as teaching them when World War I was and when World War II was and how does it apply to me, understanding where I came from. Because they always ask, why do I need to know that? Why do I need math? Why do I? We as teachers need to know why. Because I promise you, there's no base and there's no foundation. The whole building is what's going to crumble. So in order for us to make sure they have the right footing in the world, we give them a base. And the base is those skill sets and that mindset. So when they go out there and it's not a classroom anymore, they can critically think. They can adapt, they can acclimate. Unlike Miss Mitchell, when I'm still cold when it's 70 degrees outside, I have students that can adapt to that environment outside only because of the skills that they learn in entrepreneurship, those entrepreneurship skills. So that's what I would tell a teacher who's not teaching the entrepreneurship class. It's skills, and any problem that they have, it's no longer a problem. It's an opportunity for this student to solve this, right? It's just that. And all we do, we make money and they don't.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much for that, Marjorie. Christina, do you have anything that you wanted to add to that?
Same. I don't think I could have answered the question that well, but you covered all of my points and then some, Marjorie. Again, it's about a mindset. It's just like Marjorie said, like it's critical to just reframe your mind and the way that you think about problems. And they start to get exciting. Students start getting excited about problems because it means they get to find a creative way to solve them. So a scientist might develop a cure for cancer, and then they might be working for a giant corporation, and they're using entrepreneurial mindset skills to do that, to come up with that solution to that very real problem. And so it's really there's not a whole lot of difference, except, as Marjorie said, I mean, you're making money, but you're not necessarily in business for yourself, but you really are using those entrepreneurial mindsets. And you can take projects, for instance, the food truck project, that could be used across, it could be used for culinary students, it could be used for digital design. You can find ways to teach problem solving and to introduce opportunities for students to fail in small and safe ways, in a safe environment, so that they're used to getting back up over and over again. And so you're probably teaching that in physical education already. And so you can find ways to teach overcoming and reframing the way that you see obstacles and roadblocks and getting excited about the things that you can turn that into.
I'm so glad. What an amazing group of women that we have here to be able to learn from. So thank you so much to our amazing panelists for joining us here today. We're so grateful for everything that you've shared with us. So have a great rest of your afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thanks for listening to another episode of our podcast. We're so happy to have you as part of our certified community. Make sure to follow and rate our podcast so that we can bring more educators into our wonderful and supportive group. We're also here to connect, so feel free to join us by visiting www.certified.certiport.com.